Hello and welcome to part 2 of making Caged, my first bit of jewellery for Chloe, who won the competition, who won the 3,000 giveaway. Right, well I suppose I better explain which one of the designs I'm actually going to make. So these were some of the ideas that I had. A lot of people liked this one, which was like the bird escaping from the cage, or this one, again, bird escaping from the cage. I think a couple of people liked the globe ones and stuff. However, the one that I end up making, and I shall explain why. Some of the best ideas are, I think, are ones that take you a little bit further, that are not the final idea at this stage, that actually you feel like you can develop even more. I felt with a lot of these that I couldn't take those anymore. They were already the full stops in themselves. They were already pretty developed ideas and I didn't want them to stop there. So I actually went for that one. And I developed the idea even more into these further ideas. So I explain some of them. So they're all sort of based roughly on cages, well at least these 4 are. So they have... What are you doing, cat? Always. So they have elements of like bars, wire and stuff. That one actually really reminds me of the lotus flower. Cat, what are you doing? This one was sort of like that bit of Art Deco work that I really liked. That one's probably closer to the original idea, but again incorporating more of like the wire and the cage and stuff, and those like those feather type shapes that I really liked from the phoenix. That's probably closer to the actual phoenix kind of idea, but with the orange tipped wings. And again, that's quite close to the original idea as well. Less kind of cage, but definitely like they all kind of encircle the stone that I will be using, whichever stone that will be. I haven't decided yet. But yeah, so the final idea is kind of an amalgamation of a few of these actually. So I'll show you what that is. And I even made like little paper and cardboard cutouts of it. So that roughly is the final idea. However, I do want to also cut out the centre. I can do it in cardboard. To cut out like the centres of these feather shapes to make it more like the bars, like I've shown up there. And have the stone in the middle there and the golden tipped wings. So yeah, that's hopefully what it's going to be. So I'm going to use those shapes there as my template to hopefully make something quite similar to that. Should really do it, shouldn't I? Wish me luck. Hello, voiceover Lex here. Ooh, it's a bit weird, isn't it? So this is me unpacking all of my fabulous jewellery making tools. Just the things that I think I'm going to use. And also, this is what I'm going to be using to make most of the jewellery, I think. This is art clay silver. I've opened up a 10-gram pack there, and then that's a little sort of saver pot to keep it in. So it has a little sponge in it that you keep damp, and you keep it in the pot so that it doesn't dry out, because it's expensive stuff. Like, I think 10 grams. It's about £25-30, I think. So yeah, pricey stuff. Anyway, so there's my board and I've got a roller. I've used, I think it's called Cool Lube, something like that, to just put on my little surface there and on the roller. Those are some measuring cards, so there's certain thicknesses. That's a 3mm thickness, I think I roll it out to first. But as you'll see pretty soon, I actually end up rolling it out a lot thinner. And I think I ended up using the white ones, which are 1mm thick, 1.5, I think. It's quite tacky to work with soon, but it quickly dries out, so that's why you have to kind of work a bit quick. And the lube type stuff really does help with peeling off surfaces and rolling things out and stuff. Right, so there you go, I've got it at the thickness I kind of want. And the next job is to use my template that that I made out of cardboard. Yay. So yeah, it's pretty simple. Just going around it and using the little pointy tool. It's got a technical name, don't ask me what that is, to cut it out. The problem with doing this is that the clay also kind of stretches a little bit as you draw the tool through it, so you don't get a perfect identical shape every single time, which, as I will note later, can actually cause a problem. I mean, it's not a major problem. I don't mind things being unequal and a bit off kilter and stuff. Certainly nothing I make is ever going to be perfect, put it that way. So I'm just pulling off all the excess clay there, which will get stored in the little pot. Right, so now I'm cutting out the centers of each one, and the reason I'm doing this is because I didn't want it to be just a solid kind of feather wing shape. It still had to refer back to the word caged, and that's why I wanted it to be more like a construction, like bars, like that kind of Art Deco constructed look. That was one of the themes that came out with the word caged. That is my little coffee warmer thing, a USB port, and that helps to dry out the clay. And then once it's dried, this is me using the foam pads that have like a very fine, sort of like sandpaper, and they have different degrees of fineness on them. So starting with number 1, sorry, that's just the cat falling off the table there. Silly Azumi, what you doing, Bicket? I don't know. Yeah, so 1 is a fine, 2 is a super fine, and 3 is an extra fine, something like that. So you use each one in turn to take off most of like just the messy parts of it, and obviously the more you do it, the more shiny your end product will be. So again, the next part now is the construction of it. I could have done this flat, like literally just cut the overall shape out, but I wanted this to be something that was constructed and that was a bit more 3D, like again referring back to the kind of caged idea of it being this 3D shape made out of like bars, wire, and then in this kind of phoenix bird feather cage wing type shape that will eventually encase, hopefully, some kind of stone in the middle. Now the stone I'm not quite so sure of, but I'll talk about that at some other point, because There's some stones that you can fire and some stones that you can't. Some stones that will thematically work, and some stones that are easier to use but are pretty but don't actually work with the theme so much. Right, here I am using silver clay paste, so exactly what it says on the tin. Again, it can dry out quite quick, so I'm just putting some of it into a little separate pot so that I'm not always working from the original source. So I'm just layering them up on top of each other, and then I'll kind of score certain bits and paint on the paste and then put them together like so. So that looks okay. And a cup of coffee is always good. And then the next part is that I've got to join these two bits up together. So I get one of these files, and these files are absolutely great for fine detail. And I'm just taking off those bottom pointy corners there to leave a couple of flat edges so that I can actually paste the two bits together. Now that'll be quite a weak join, so I end up using a little bit more of just a little lump of clay either side and blend it in to make the join a little bit stronger, because precious metal clay is really delicate, and so that's why I'm holding it quite close to my nails as well, so to support the clay as I'm filing it down. And I put very little pressure actually on it while I'm doing it. Right now, so I'm trying to link these two together, but it's not symmetrical, annoyingly. Like the second one down on the left hand side is slightly too high up. So it doesn't link together perfectly, but I think I do a sort of okay job in the end. Again, filing it down, pasting it together, using that precious metal clay paste to link them up. And as you will see in a bit, I do manage to do it. So there you go, linking it up with the paste, and I put a little bit of extra clay on top by the side to blend it all in a bit nicer. And then that will go back onto my little stand, and then a bit later on it's all dried out from my coffee stand. But wait. No.